Barking dog. Hey, what can you do about it? Well, that takes us to this week's case. It involves two couples up in Oregon. Now, Karen Swizik and her husband raised dogs. The dogs they raised made lots of noise and barked incessantly, at least according to reports of neighbors. Enough so that in 2006, the county brought a claim against them and fined them for violating the local noise ordinance. Well, time goes forward, time goes forward. Dogs continue to bark. And neighbors, Deborah and Dale Krein, Deborah and Dale said, enough of this, enough of this, enough of this. We've got to do something about it. And they sued Karen and her husband, saying the dogs barked incessantly and it was impossible to basically engage in the quiet enjoyment of their house. So, case went forward, and it did go to trial, Karen and Dale said, we want to have actual money in exchange for the hassles that we've been through, monetary damages. And we also want something done so these dogs will stop barking, Well, the case went forward, and the jury heard this, and literally heard it, because tapes were played as to how noisy these dogs were. Jury was sufficiently concerned with all of this that they in fact voted for Deborah and Dale and said that Karen and her husband needed to pay roughly $240,000 in damages to reimburse Deborah and Dale for all the hassles that they had had due to the dogs barking. The judge, because of the way the complaint was brought, was then also asked to do something to really bring it into the barking, and he was asked to order that the dogs be debarked, And he, in fact, entered an order stating that the dogs would be debarked, and that order was to be executed. Now, what does this case teach us? It teaches us a couple of things. But one of the important things it teaches us is the fact that there's a difference between money damages and what's called equitable actions. Money damages are an actual award, and a jury can do that. If they find that somebody has been wrong, that they've suffered damages, the jury can order money paid to the person who was wronged in order to reimburse them for the kind of hassles they had. But when you're asking somebody to do something, when you're asking somebody to refrain from any kind of activity such as a nuisance from making a lot of noise, or if you're asking a performer to go on stage when they appear to be violating a contract, that's asking for actual conduct. It's not asking for money damages, it's asking for actual conduct, and that's actually dealt with in what's referred to as equity. And equity is a form of law whereby, as I say, you ask somebody to do something. And equity is really handled only by judges, and in this instance, what we saw is the judge had to make the ruling as to whether or not something should be done, and in this instance he ruled that the dogs be debarked. But that's not a decision that was made by the jury, that's a decision that was made by the judge. Once again, we see the difference between what's referred to as actions in law, which usually involve money, and actions in equity, which basically involve ordering somebody to do something or ordering somebody to stop doing something. And in this instance, they were ordered to stop making noise. And in this instance, the only way the judge felt that they could stop making noise was through debarking the dogs. Okay, we bring in this case, we bring cases every week, so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.